And welcome back. It is Sunday. We are at the tournament final table of our $150 buy-in, 6K guaranteed prize pool. We are here to the final nine, and we got some faces back here. We've got Aaron. We've got the Bronstein Bomber. I think we got Clay Martin back here as well. George the Mad Bomber. We got El Capitan, legend. We got the Big G. Now, I've not ever seen Big G's tournament game. I have seen him on the cash game felt, and let me tell you, that guy has taken some very unusual lines. A very tricky player, and he's going to start tonight here with 315K. First hand, a couple of junky hands as we go three ways. So I'll get into the details here in just a moment. Nobody's connected. A couple of different straight draws. Aaron here with just Jack High. Mr. Clay is going to go ahead and take the first pot and take the lead on that. All right. So again, $150 buy-in plus 20 tournament entry fee. We had 52 total entries into this for a prize pool of $7,800. For six, it's going to be 620. Fifth, 700. Fourth, 1,000. Third, 1,280. Second, 1,010. And first, $2,490. So again, $150 buy-in. Again, 25-minute levels. Players start with 30K starting stacks, a 5K on-time bonus, and a 5K $10 dealer appreciation meet also here back at the final table again. So a decent turnout here for us. We had a pretty busy day here in the opening weekend of the NFL. Got that little Cowboys game going on right now as... Boy, not a good start for your Dallas Cowboys here, huh? All right, we got a raise up here by Eric to 21K. Fender here in the big blind going to go ahead and give it up. So opening week one, we had a pretty nice turnout here at Texas Card House here this afternoon. Again, our promotion here this month. We do have high hands on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We also have happy hour in our cash games from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then a reverse happy hour from 1 a.m. to close, and that's 25% off your hourly rate. Come and be happy here at Texas Card House in North Austin. My name is Mike Kimblick. Glad to be back here in the commentary booth. We're roaring and right out of the gate. What's going on, Moose Duty? Nick from Yuma. Nathan Cano saying yo, 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 yo. Wonder what he's trying to say there. All right, so we've got a meat raising up here to 18K. I just stuffed a Jimmy John sandwich down in record speed right before the start of this bad boy. So we got a meat raising up here to 18K. Let's see, the Bronstein Bomber, Mr. George. A short stack here at this portion of our final table. Blinds 4,000, 8,000 with an 8,000 big blind ante. So 52 total entries here. What's going on, Jedi Master Ted? Congratulations. Ted was one of the high hand winners the other night here at TCH. At this point, average stack about 173,000 or so as we are nine-handed. As you see our stacks. Meet the chip leader, Eric, right behind him. The Big G. I think his name's Larry, but, you know, he's... Used to wear this lucky shirt all the time. The one of the early days of TCH would always have this blue shirt on every single weekend. I'm not sure if it was washed or not, but he swore by it. And, you know, by golly, on some of the things I saw on the felt, it seemed to be pretty effective. So, all right, here to the small blind, the Bronstein Bomber, going to bomb it in. El Capitan here, going to call off his money here with 7-6 eyes. Says, oh, why not? 7 Jack. And there's going to be a king, and that's pretty much going to do it for El Capitan, our captain. Our captain, unfortunately, will be our first elimination here as we're down to the final 9. Here of our $150 buy-in 6K guaranteed prize pool. JTN, is it just me or did the final table start late? I would have to think, like, I think in comparison to some of our other previous tournaments, like, this tend to be about the time that it starts. I feel like some of the ones when we first came back were really quick. So I think sometimes with the player pool that if we get a couple more entries in here, that bubble tends to last a little bit longer. What's going on, G.J. Browns? It's good to hear a smiling voice, Mikey. But yeah, it's again, we are also on a 15-minute delay too, so excuse me. There's always about I feel kind of like a half hour to an hour buffer zone when this tournament final table starts. We do appreciate you guys joining us at any point, which time. So Aaron here in the hijack, totally reasonable raise up here. Get blinds at 4 and 8,000. Perfect size raise. We've got a call by a meet. This is been on a run of final tables, it feels like, and only going to call here with the ace king. All right, Jack 9 5. Gutter ball here for Aaron with backdoor clubs. A board he can 100% bet on here. And I mean, generally always going to see this here in typical tournament poker as heads up, late position versus the blind. Like, I mean, it's going to float him here in the spot, which is... He does have the best hand. It's a tricky spot to be in, the one that I don't particularly love to play it that way, though I think some players are going to float in the spot with ace-king rather than try to 3-bet and build the pot out of position that you typically see into cash games. So, in a sense, it kind of feels more like a limit hold'em hand that you're just sort of peeling with any of your overcards if the pot's small enough. So after it goes check here on the turn of meat is going to lead the river. Best hand technically holds up and going to go ahead and take it down. So Nick from UMS says, now you maybe want a sandwich. What did you get from Jimmy? I think I got the country club. Turkey, ham, provolone, light lettuce, no tomato. Get out of here with those tomatoes. Come on. Why do they have to be on everything? That's ridiculous. All right. ATX Poker. We got a huge shout out here to ATX Poker on Instagram at ATX Poker and ATXPoker.com. Says Aaron is our featured player of the month. The article is being released tonight. Awesome job, Aaron. And shout out to TCH and Let's JD, Dealer of the Month. Like what those folks there are doing there at ATX Poker, trying to get the word out about all things here in the Austin poker scene. Not just the tournaments and the places to play, but some of the personalities along with it. As Aaron here in the big blind, not going to check his option, and he's going to get the small blind to fold out. So ATX Poker says, we also heard there was a feature segment on the great legend Mike Youngblood. I hate that guy. He's always talking. Thinks he's so good. All right. Yeah, we did an interview, one of the private rooms here. It was fun to do. Just kind of like I'm usually on the other side of the coin doing the interviewing as we move on here to hand 7 of our tournament final table. So, hey, it was a good thing to do as far as like, hey, you guys are upstart, want to get you some reps here. A savvy media dude, chat about everything that has gone on here this year for us at TCH Live. really go check it out. You can subscribe to him at ATX Poker on YouTube. Easiest way to find it. Otherwise, check out the link on atxpoker.com. All right, so because John, Shaq, and Brian behind that is all right. We've got three players to a flop, 3 hearts, now 4 in the big G with just Jack high. Just going to take a stab at it in the hopes he can maybe get anybody else to fold out of me. Technically has the best hand with a 10 high flush, but it's always such a marginal spot to be put in that. No, Eric had flop top 2. Way good here in the spot, but the 5 here on the end. The big G is going to barrel it at it. Ain't nothing but a G thing here for Lucky Larry. He's going to bet 55K. Again, all that you typically beat in this spot is a pure bluff. Now, there is one player at the table that I think a lot of his hand range can be consistent of a lot of bluffs, but if you're not familiar with them, I mean, that is a really great bet there by the big G unit. Mad respect him. Hey, welcome back, Clay, here on the final table as well. Made a run in his first time ever playing here at TCH, and it's been part of the fold here. Has been playing well. I played some cash before the start of this. Riding a little momentum as we've got 8 players left and top 6 playing. Excuse me, top 6 .club. Okay, atxpoker.club. Again, we have the prize pool in the description as well, so. All right, down to 8-handed is. What's going on, Alan Piscatello? Our good friend there. It's a sub TCH Hatters. All right, we've got Fender limping one off the end of the gun with just about under 10 big blinds. I don't mind a shove here. I think as a stack depth, some players may not be comfortable just open ripping with, but going to flop a gutter ball and technically has the best hand of the field here as we go right off to the turn. What's going on, Bill Hewer? This is Saturday Night Live equals TCH Live time. We appreciate your presence here. All right, and a jack here on the end. Fender will not be a ball. Actually, we're going to get Big G taking a stab at it. Absolutely going to get called here by Fender. Heads up, as Fender's going to get up to 137K here right out of the gate. So it's a nice little bump up here in his stack, his top 6 pay. As you can see, top 5, pretty comfortable position right now, but you've got the Bronstein bomber, Mr. George, there ready to strike at any moment. And these short stacks are still big enough that, you know, if they get it all in, they can still really do damage to somebody's stack here. So we'll see just how cautiously players play from this spot on. You know, who can pick up some chips in some pretty marginal positions here as all right, a raise up here. It's by Aaron. Just above a min raise, and we've got a shove here by David out of the small blind. Classic coin flip. This is a skill game. This is really where all the skill in poker is. Do you have the ability to win flips? Aaron's got a chance for a gutter ball, but I flopped. Top pair, turn top 2. And 7's going to miss, and David is going to double up. All right, John Shack giving a 99-cent super chat here from a dog Dunks. made my life fun jumping into a pond twice today and running around, so he smells awful. And getting a bath as soon as I get home. Let's see. Saeed Mazruel. When is TCH Dallas opening? Well, if you were signed up for our text updates, we had one sent out today. Text TCH Dallas to 21000. Construction team is making huge strides. The painting is in progress. The floor finishes are beginning this week, and the tables, chairs, and other pieces are on the way. You can follow TCH Dallas on Instagram. We'll announce the opening date 7 to 10 days prior, which we expect now to be in October. Joshua says, "What's up, Mike? I got busted earlier on a 4-outer. Good luck to Aaron." That's always a tough way to go. Tournament poker is ruthless sometimes. All right, the raise up here by Fender. Not going to defend here by Aaron. Nick from Umis says, "Mike, how about the Nuggets?" Yeah, what about nobody really got this on? It was at noon, and there's like 10 NFL games going on, but Nuggets pushing Game 7 here in the Western Conference semis. Yeah, here. I was a Minnesota Timberwolves fan banging the table, saying we got to get Jamal Murray out of the draft. And they took Chris Dunn, and the rest is history. So I love Murray out of college. So, yeah, there's Mouthy Mike there. Says JM making the Nuggets look good. UK Wildcats. Hello, y'all. Yeah, he's a real one. Fire off your football takes here. I know we still have some NFL fans. You're not all boycotting it. Mad at something you saw on TV. All right, is going to be folded around here. Blind versus blind. Aaron here with blinds. Again, 4,000, 8,000 with the 8,000 big blind ante. So again, we've got kind of a bottleneck here as we're 2 away from the bubble. Top 6 pay. But again, with 20 big blinds or less, like this is kind of a fun maneuverability point because, I mean, if you're a player trying to just steal blinds at this point, you don't have a ton of flexibility to do it very often. So you've got to be able to pick your spots effectively as to, okay, who can I try to steal against, who's less likely to defend, or who might be more passive post-flop that can fold to. And usually by that, and I look around this table, I feel like there's a pretty fair amount of pretty good players here that. So we're down here to the small blind, big blind. Fender here wakes up with ace king, raise up, sizes up here to 24K. Again, don't forget to hit that like button for us. You know the drill. You're a loyal TCH live viewer. Maybe Brunstein Bombers. He's thinking about bombing it here? Is he thinking about bombing it, or he might defend? He's either trying to figure out his Fender just on a steal raise here, and then if I push it and I have enough fold equity, potentially get him to get him out, but taking his time here, and I think George sometimes will do this too to discourage people from trying to steal. Just kind of make you sweat a little bit, but NFL hot takes is Colin Erb, Carson Wentz, worst quarterback in the league. Bills will be Super Bowl contenders. The Patriots won't scrape 500. I agree with one of those. I think maybe the Bills can be Super Bowl contenders. I give them at least a chance to make it deep in the AFC. I don't think the Patriots are going to be under 500, and I don't think Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback in the league. I don't think he is as strong as we thought, but I don't think he's near the worst. Come on, Tom Brady looked awful today at times, so, like, There's a lot of guys that did not look particularly fantastic, but give it time. Let's not overreact to 1 week. What's going on, Carlo? Welcome back. Good to see you again, my friend. This blinds 4008. Ronstein Bomber completing the action of the small blind. And he's flopped the best hand here with middle pair all spades, though, as bet at 24K, as Clay will fold out his 9-7. Limp there in the hijack and medium stack. Connor, but that's why they're hot techs. I will give it that is. You loaded up the take cannon, lit the match, and fired. So I appreciate it. What's going on, Justin Powers? Here in the chat, again, hit the like for us. Click subscribe. Over 10,400. We had a new highlight video. Yeah, thanks to Bart Hansen, a Crush Live Poker. Does a lot of that good stuff. Again, players enjoying the NFL Sunday Ticket, whatever game you want. We have it here on Sundays. Then we get to the nighttime to get every TV turned to NBC for the final game of the night, and then once that game is done, you have 12 TVs, all with Buck McNeely, the outdoorsman. It makes me laugh every time I see it. All right, so we are here to the button with George. He's got 164K. The limper up front. We do tend to see the bubble gets a little passive at this point, that top 6 spots paying. We do tend to see some more limp pre-flops, or limps pre-flop versus players trying to leverage their stack and get super aggro. And it's understandable. It just... All right, so we have Eric, the only player with a pair in this hand here, with bottom pair of threes with a jack kicker. Both David and the Mad Bomber here with club draws. A small price here for George, a 74K in there. And actually a really good laydown here in the spot too, as his clubs are crushed as a 5 here on the end. And I don't know if Eric's trying to turn his hand into a bluff, or this is specifically a value bet that maybe gets an 8 to fold, or pocket 7s, 6s, 4s. Because you're not necessarily making this expecting that you're going to get called with a worser hand in this spot, but either way, bets with the goods. Gonna take down the pot, so here tonight at Texas Card House, looks like we've got 3 1-2 no limit tables going, and a 1-3 match a stack happening here with our tournament final table. Back from Mondays 5-5 uncapped to Thursdays 1-3 match a stack. I don't know if we're gonna be doing that Omaha thing anymore, but always keep a lookout for that. Check out our website, Texas Card House, for our schedule. Limp here in the hijack. George with an identical hand, a jack 10 offsuit. Fender, though, with the jack 10 of spades. Very disciplined fold there. Eric now here in the small blind with ace queen, and about to raise it on up. So he's going to probably make it 50K with the blinds 5,000 and 10,000. Or excuse me, just about 45K. So About the right size raise here, I think, for this spot. I don't think you want to bomb it any more than that. Make it 55K or 60K, and then you've created a huge pot that you have to try to defend out of position. It's alrighty, here we go. As Ace Queen, both players miss. Fender has backdoor spades and backdoor straight draw. Ace Queen high still best. And now Eric's going to lead it here 55K as his first to act out of the small blind. Fender will just give it on up. John Shack saying, watch Clay play some weird hands. He says he wants to shake it up today. But we'll see, you know. Everybody says that, and then, you know, it's just as much about the timing that you pick, and you really just want to go after the stacks that maybe defend less or may give up the pot without much willpower. What's going on, Cat Pad 2012? Again, ATX Poker saying, as per last week's 200 likes equals a 6-pack for Mike. We almost got there. Almost. Probably good for me that you didn't. It's a great idea in theory. It makes it for a rough next day, but what can you do? All right, we got the big G unit. Gonna go ahead and take it down here with a primo ace king suited. Thanks, folks, talking about the all-time Kentucky team. Yeah, it's a lot of star power, and it's produced as many of those premier NBA guys as it takes. And John Calipari will be the first one to tell it to you every single day. All right, 5K, 10K. Good, if you want to check out an interview that I did with ATX Poker, check them out at atxpoker.club. Also on their YouTube channel, you can just search my name, Mike Youngblitz, and should be up there. Got all right, Queen 8-8 is a king high flush draw here for Clay out of the big blind. Ace 5 off here for the Fender. A bet of 20K. Then a quick raise up there by Clay. Good instincts is. I think with a bet size like that, it's just really tough to think like, okay. It's definitely in most cases the kind of player that I don't think necessarily leads with 3-8s. So Clay there with a very intuitive check raise, just go ahead and pick up the pot, but yeah, what a day here. Green Bay looked really good. Raiders get a win. Joe Burrow is leading the drive there for the Cincinnati Bengals, and the kicker just, I think his leg exploded, like his calf strained really bad on the attempt to maybe take it into overtime. So Chargers win. The Arizona Cardinals going into San Francisco and whooping some ass here, 24-20, looking really good today. And the Saints just beating the Buccaneers around. So there's a lot of storylines for today. And right now the Rams up 10-7 with 8:42 left here in the second. As Aaron's not too concerned about that. He's got big aces in the big blind. And a pre-flop raiser here in the hijack with 5-4. Aaron going to play it slow here as we go heads up. 75K right there in the middle. Top, oh, we got an action flop here. Top set versus straight flush draw. Aaron's got a chance to rebuild his chip position, but he's going to have to dodge a lot of outs here if they get it all in, which I imagine with what he has left, what the pot size is of 115 with that 40K bet, like really, unless he's really convinced that Eric's just completely has nothing here and he can just bet his entire range of like King X, Queen, you know, and any Broadway combo. So he's really just trying to figure out, like, okay, do I play slow one more straight or we just get it in? We got a quick call. Aaron trying to avoid the bubble here, get a double up that would put him back to 309K. 10 here, he fades it, and gotta beat the river here as a top set will hold. The big draw there for Eric, but the 65-35 edge holds on here for Aaron, and you did not mess up, son. You got it in there with the best hand, and it held, so again, as you see, our payouts 620 for 6th, 700 for 5th, 1,000 for 4th, 1,280 for 3rd, 2nd 1,710, and first place tonight a whole $2,490. Not a bad prize pool at all for a day's work. Colin Murray said Joe Burrow looked decent for first. I was impressed with the Arizona offense. Yeah, Kyler Murray looks incredible. Alan St. Bengals should have been used to playing in empty stadiums. There we go. That's the kind of shade that we're looking for here in the chat. There's a lot of jokes like that, but I think that one's really applicable to Bengal Nation. What's going on? Maximuson says again, cheers from the Netherlands. I believe Max says he was 6 foot tall. I was speculating that I think the Dutch are like the tallest people on the planet. Wow, we got a quick shove. We got a quick all in. We've got Ace Jack up against, looks like King 4 of clubs. He saw the short stack there and said, okay, any raise would just be pointless because if he does have a legit hand, I'm just going to end up paying it off. So we're going to figure out the stack depths here. So we want to make sure we have the numbers correct because after that double up by Alan, or excuse me, by Aaron, to verify what the amounts are. So we have no delays in your time here on TCH Live. So King 4 of clubs going to be going up against Ace Jack offsuit. As again with blinds 5,000 and 10,000, this is blind versus blind, small blind versus big blind. We're going to update the information. Alan, St. Brown's fan should at least be happy that it can't get worse this year. And like I said, I think there's a high probability a lot of teams look bad without a preseason and a lot of extenuating circumstances. But we'll get back to that point here as we go Fender versus Aaron. Boom, right there on your flop is 4, top pair here, and 3 jacks. Here for Fender, who is going to double up. As I think we're just going to get it. Yeah, that is, Aaron was just north of about 300,000. And at that point, Fender just under about 100,000 at that point with his blinds posted. So it's a little bit of a reckless move there that I think pays off a lot of the time for Aaron. I don't necessarily blame him for making it because, again, with the stacked up that Fender has, he really has one move. It's all in or fold. So oftentimes you make a big enough bet there when you get folded to the blinds, you can just shut your opponent out and make them have to decide if they want to call you with Queen 10 or Queen Jack. But he woke up with a hand that, given the situation, Ace Jack's just almost always a call there. All right, 7-3 versus 7 deuce, an epic matchup that deserves its own breakdown here. All right, Fender. And the Mad Bomber is going to move it in here with the 7 Dewey. Show it to him, my friend. They don't call him the Bomber for nothing. That's why we love him. Yeah, again, it's week one. These teams didn't really have a whole lot of preseason time, so I'm going to wait to react in maybe like 2 or 3 weeks and just because you're gonna have a lot of guys coming out here that had, I mean, this is their first NFL game. It's rookies or second-year guys, so it's NFL game day speed is different than just about everything. So some teams might just be bad, and some is just like, okay, back to the drawing board here. And the teams that were good were already good. So how about that for a hot take? The good teams are good. The bad teams will still be bad. All right, so we've got a shove here by David with some jacks. Clay here with some fives. Represents about a third of his stack here with players to act behind him. Good fold there, Clay. All right, Andy's going to go pick it up as nobody will give David any action as he's back up to 133K. Mike Lewis asking how long are the levels? They are 25-minute levels. Again, 30K starting stack. This tournament starts at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Or Central Daylight Time. I always get that mixed up. Greg corrected me on this once. But here, 8:22 Central. Tournament running for just about 6.5 hours. Players get a break after the first 7 levels. And then the registration is closed after that. As David with another big hand here has got queens under the gun. Clay. And he's going to pop it up here at 35K. I expect this is probably going to be a limp race spot, but go on, David. Water's warm. Get it in there. We're going to get a quick call, most likely, from Clay. An unusual hand there to limp raise with, but, I mean, it was super effective. He's getting all the money in way ahead, so over it's a 300K pot, potential split on the board, and an ace on the river. But no good here for Clay, as David is now going to go from our short stack to medium stack here with a pocket pair of queens. So we're going to be hanging on 8-handed, it appears, here for a bit. And everybody's kind of, I mean, even George here at 16 bigs, I think, is still a threat to win this here at this point. Like, there's not a ton of separation. Like I thought last week when I believe it was Cole, or maybe that was the week before. Like, he got out in front. Like, it was pretty clear that there was going to be that degree of separation from him in the field. And right now, it's everybody kind of trading stacks with each other. Alan saying I should have picked Baltimore, biggest lock. Pat saying New England was pretty obvious too. I've always been spooked by thinking that way after that year where the Dolphins ran the Wildcat with like Ronnie Brown, and the Patriots were supposed to be the greatest. And I mean, they had a great year that year, but it was also like those Miami New England games are always just it's either the Patriots win by a ton or the Dolphins win the weirdest game ever. Oh, yeah, you're right, Mustadia. That getting a pocket 8, so the 5 would have came off and the straight was on the board. He would have the higher end of the straight. You're 100% correct on that. Thinking quickly, I got fractured parts here, thinking about an NBA, NFL, poker. You guys are putting me here to the test. So we've got a raise up by George the Mad Bomber here to 48K. He's got about 120 back, so He's got a punt built up big enough here that it's likely getting in, and Eric's not going anywhere. He's got a royal flush draw. George is going to rip it, and Eric is going to make a quick call. Again, straight draw, flush draw. And he is drawn, well, not completely dead. He would have had the jack of diamonds, but ace is full here for George. Just like that, he's up to 340. This is the tournament where nobody gets eliminated. They just double each other up. Alan saying 3 things are sure in life: death, taxes, and the Browns losing the opener. That is fact. That's Max Musson. Can't wait till Dutch players get involved. Yeah, there's got to be enough athletes out there that I think some of the overseas, like the Vikings try to draft a 7th rounder that was from like Germany. Didn't really pan out, but he had really cool highlights, and he looked like an NFL player, but it's just, those guys at that level are freaks, man. It's tough to make it. Alan saying I just need my Ohio State football back so I can ignore the Browns again. Now I finally found something I don't like about you, man. I thought we were really connecting at a high level, and now I have to throw that all away, man. Well, Rams charging here in the red zone here on them Cowboys. Super Bowl winning Cowboys. This is our year, boys, girls. That may not be. All right, so we've got Eric here with 5s on the button. Gonna drive out half of our audience here rambling about football tonight, so sorry, folks. You're just gonna have to deal with it. All right, we got Eric limping the button with 5s. David will check out of the big blind as the big G unit. Has all diamonds, 7 high top pair, king high diamond draw here for David. Eric here with pair of 5s. Derek's gonna go ahead and bet his hand. Now the big G's just got jack high diamonds, maybe some potential straight draws. I would be, yeah, he could get a little nuts, but he's not going to go too crazy here in the spot. What's going on? Jeff Patchett says cheers from Canada. Jordan Patrick says Patriots, baby. Me and Sully were rooting for the Patriots. That's a terrible New England accent. It sounded like, I'm usually sharper than that, but Tommy and Sully loving it today. What, they won 21-11. All right, so we've got a call by Fender under the gun. Clay gonna check his option here with 9-6 suited, and off we go. Middle pair here for Clay. And he is going to make a move at it. Only about 40K in the middle. He has the best hand. Just going to go ahead and deny equity to everybody else. Say, I'm just going to take this here. A little risky, but you know, John Shack had mentioned here in the chat that he was ready to step outside the norm here today. On the ground, 15-19 for 155 yards. So just a really solid football apparently up there. In New England this afternoon, Fitzmagic with 3 picks. That's our Fitzmagic that we all love. Apparently the Eagles blew a game pretty badly. The Colts, I saw the Lions were up on Chicago for most of the day, and then Chicago, This is what happens. You get 10 games on at once. You want to focus on one or two, and then all of a sudden you're scrambling to figure out what the hell happened here for the rest of the day. So, all right, we got to raise up here by a meet. The 32K. David here with King Jack of clubs. Has position on the pre-flop raiser. So we're going to get a call here by Aaron here with some sevens, some walking sticks. Jordan going to burn, and he's going to turn. Oh, a 7 right there for Aaron. Top pair here for David. It's a juicy scenario here for Aaron as it's checked. He's going to put a third spade out. Looks like we're going to have blinds up after this hand. Here a floor man Bert in the background. Aaron gonna lead it as I would be surprised if David didn't take a card here. Even more surprised if he tried to raise, but how about that? Really passive there on the 3-spade board that with top pair, second best kicker, it's not even gonna take one more street with it, so again, look, I mean, there's nobody that has a very big edge on each other from 1 to 5. Like, George is okay with 50K of blinds, 6,000, 12,000. I mean, he's got maybe only a 4 big blind advantage over at this point from 1 to 5. What's going on, David Bralier? Says hello, everybody. Good to see you as always. Hope everything's well on the other side of the globe. Thank you for your service. All right, Aaron here with ace-8 offsuit. Beto Valdez says hello, everyone, and take care. That's a way to make an entrance. Come on in and step on out. All right, we got to raise up here by Aaron. 32K. Fender is going to defend. See if we can get him to read his cards there. Aaron absolutely justified a raise, and he actually kind of sized up in the spot too to maybe disincentivize a post-flop call, but he's got overcards here to the board. What could a Fender called with? Do you think it's a king-queenish? I would be surprised if it was a pair above an 8s. I could see it. Oh, wow. He's going to jam it in here. Still have no idea what he had there. Apparently the cards did not scan, so I could have seen him there with like King Jack diamonds or something like that. Either way, had a better hand than Aaron. Ripped it in. Elsner Brewery says finally got to play poker last week, and it sucked. Last night at the craps table was golden though. Well, I'm glad to hear it. You give a little action, you get a little action. Moose Duty saying he had deuces. Either guessing he had deuces or he's saying goodbye while being really modern. Deuces. All right, we got Clay jamming here with ace-jack offsuit for 181. David had opened, raising up here to 25K, just above a min raise. David here with a decision. It would be more than half of his stack. And he is going to pick it up. So again, my name is Mike Youngblood, aka the Dude Talking. Again, follow ATX Poker on Instagram if you have not yet. Again, ATX Poker is the Instagram handle. I did an interview with them that was just released last night. Good 15 minutes, so if you want to see what I look like and make fun of me, this is your opportunity to do so. Alright, that's again on the ATX Poker YouTube or on atxpoker.club, CLUB. You're doing some chip verifications here for players, making sure all their stack numbers are right. Alright, we got to raise up by Clay. The Mead had limped. No, Mead's out of the big blind. Eric had limped under the gun with ace jack offsuit. Now Eric gonna limp call here in this spot with ace jack as with 120k in the middle. Could do the old stop and go here, and he's got ace high spades, so let her rip, Eric. Though he might try to induce a little action here as Clay, the slightly better hand, was second pair. Clay puts out the bet, Eric puts out the call. A little bit better than a coin flip here at this point based on the cards that are live. Deuce on the turn, and oh, the spade hits on the end. It looks like Clay is going to become the short stack here with 92k after we count it all out. And Eric is going to double up here to 3. This feels like the record number of all-in and survives and that we've seen here on TCH Live. A lot of players having to get their chips in at this stage of the tournament. So Clay is going to be down to just under 7 big blinds. Again, not a big separation between first to 7th here at this point. So it's anybody's game. So we're probably got to release the poll here on our TCH Live chat. Press 1 for David. Press 2 for Clay. Gonna press 3 for Aaron. Can press 4 for Fender. 4 for Fender. I think that sounds good. 5 for the Bomber. 6 for Amit. 7 for Eric. And 8 for Big G. So there you go. I'll put it right there in the chat. Time to vote. Vote or die, guys. Get him a line 6,000, 12,000. All right, ace 5 versus jack 8, a gutter ball here for Eric. Top pair for Amit. And he is going to bet it. Eric going to go ahead and get out. I already know Alan Piscatella is probably going to vote for the professor. I did not see the professor here, but I still feel like he can find a way to win this somehow, some way.
So that king, or that last card needs to be over the word.
Yes. Dak Prescott over the end zone. I unfortunately have to become a Cowboys fan this year since I do have Dak and Ezekiel Elliott in fantasy, the only league I care about. So, Cowboys' success is my success. So I gotta shape up and fly right with all you Texans down here. All right, overwhelming number of votes here for Aaron. So we've got a button call here by Meat and a big blind option check with a 6. All hearts. Big G with a better hand. Still plenty of chop outs here between both these players, but the 4 is not going to be one of them. 2 pair here for a Meat. Little bet, probably a call. No, excuse me, check call here, 16. And an 8 here on the end, so we do have a chop. Aces and 8s with a 7 for both players. And they're going to flip it up here, a showdown, and split it amongst each others. Apparently, Moose Duty's chat says, no, you don't, my cowboy, is thumbs down 9 times. Apparently, the Nightbot does not like emojis being used multiple times. We got to teach the Nightbot a few things. But you can join us here in the chat. Leave us a comment here on the archive if you're watching it after the fact. Especially if you played on this and you go back and listen to it. We always appreciate it if you leave a comment. If you had a positive experience. We used to try to be as fair as humanly possible to all the players on here. That I'm not going to rip you too hard. And not be a big jerk if you maybe misplay a hand or anything. Gonna hit that like button, that thumbs up, that little glove with a thumb popping up, like. Meat has been kind of passive post or pre-flop, so I like the fact here. In the cutoff, he's gonna raise it with ace-jack suited. Fender here, who had limped 2 off the under the gun, is not going to continue here with it. He'll show it. I'm not. Yeah, I think that was talked about when Birch and Mike Major were hosting this last week. That players are showing a lot of hands, and I don't. I think it's always situational to me as whether or not you want to show in that spot. I think sometimes the limpers, if you want to establish a precedent that it's like, yeah, of course, I'm only raising you here with a good hand to set up for the fact later that you're going to maybe try to out-muscle them later. I don't know. I think there's a kind of give and take with that. I don't know how much it influences decisions, but it's always kind of up to you to play off of that if you do decide to show. Is that, okay, can you think another level after you made the move? All right, as both players miss, it's going to bet here 15K after it goes check, check on the flop. Highest VPIP on the table. Oddly, it's George at the lowest VPIP at this final table, but more reflective, I think, of what his chip position has been. Mentioned it before. Not a great deal of separation between 7th to 1st. So if all it just takes is one player eliminated by we might finally have a new leader of the pack, but at this point, it's looking like it's going to have to be a cooler before we get some significant chips in. So meat limps. And we've got a Aaron with the old Jack 6 off. Ace 5 offsuit. Both players flop a straight draw. Now Aaron is double gutted, technically. He's going to make a 9 or a straight with a 5. Chance to pick it on up here. A meet with a quick call, though. A smallish bet of 15K, so. And a 6 year is going to make a straight for a meet, so I probably expect it's going to go check. Bet of like 40K. Aaron will tank and probably fold. But with a 20K bet, I feel like he's going to pay it off. I mean, it would put Aaron down to 100. He's also got to figure out, okay, what hands will call to turn that bet to river that a 6 can beat. And there's not too many at this point that. I think if Aaron's got, like, if he's sitting here like a chip leader and you got 400K, you probably could be a little bit more intrigued to just, like, say, okay, I give up 20K just to see what in the world's going on here. But here's a little bit more of a decision based on what the stack that he has, that you can't necessarily afford to pay this off. But a pretty nice size bet there by a meat to induce a call from his opponent. It's not going to work. Again, 4 players under 20 big blinds. I mean, now the chip leader, or at least the more significant chip leader. He has been near the top 3 of the field for the majority of this final table, but we have kind of our first degree of separation here at this point. All right, we got a $5 super chat here from GTN. So what's up, Mike? Have an idea for a special event stream? You, Steam Dola, Mike Major, Victor Leon, some off-duty dealers. Maybe Kamikaze Poker. I'm going to have to... Oh, it's an all-in or full tournament? Okay, I was like, what is because there are some variants of different games that people will describe as different things. I mean, an all-in or full tournament sounds kind of fun, but it seems kind of like not a great one if you want to get some camera time. All right, so we've got Eric here with some jacks. And I'm going to go ahead and pick it up as push it on over there to Eric. Again, here at TCH, 2-1-2 no limit tables happening. Looks like we've got a 1-2-5 PLO game. Psst, Alan, there's a 1-2-5 PLO game happening right now here at Texas Card House. Okay, my name is Mike Youngblood, super producer. Carolyn in the house, as always. Join us tomorrow for 5-5 no limit, uncapped. Should have a fantastic game as we have had for the past couple of weeks, but you can fire off your takes here in the chat. Join the legions of fans like GTN 1968 who just contributed a $5 super chat and says, I'm the best chatter. That's how you make a statement. George gonna check his option here out of the big blind as the big G limped. Been a pretty solid showing here for the big G. Lucky Larry, as I call him. There you go. Kelsey. Or Carly, excuse me. Newish dealer here. Big G is going to bet the bottom end of the straight draw. Probably will draw a fold out here, but George going to make him sweat a little bit. Unless George really wants to pop. Well, actually, I take that back. He's going to grab some chips like maybe he is going to raise the G unit out of this hand. But George kind of does this sometimes where there's a little bit of posturing, and it's like, all right, come on, bud. Come on, my friend. It's all right. John Shack mentioning that he played Oklahoma. You get 6 cards down. You split them up. 1 4-card hand, 1 2-card hand. That in our 5-10 mix game. That's a somewhat popular choice. There's it almost feels like an infinite number of different games you could play. But again, if you want to come on down here later on tonight, we have reverse happy hour, 25% off from 1 a.m. to close. All right, so we have got a call here by David. 2 off the under the gun. I mean, he's going to check his option here with a king 3 offsuit. So queen 8 deuce. Everybody misses. David here as we go to showdown, going to win it here with king 9 offsuit. All right, here we go. So we have got, looks like we're going to extend the payout here to 7 spots. 200 is going to be 7th place. 6th place is going to be 620. 5th place is going to be 700. 4th is going to be 1,000. 3rd going to be 1,240. 2nd will be 1,650. And first $2,390. All right, blind versus blind, 10-7 versus the 7 Dewey, or 10 Dewey, excuse me. All right, so Eric is going to flop bottom pair. Amita's totally missed this. Check and check. So we got the big G in the mix here as well, so we'll let the graphics catch up. Deuce still good here until we get to the river. Everybody with a 10 in their hand, and nobody will hit it. Big G, last act, is going to try to take a stab at it, and he might be able to pick up the pot. And that's exactly what he's going to do. As everybody else afraid to breathe on it, Larry is going to take that spot right there to go ahead and pick up some chips. So again, we've extended the payouts here. I'll post that here in the chat momentarily. 52 entries into this bad boy here for a prize pool of $7,800. First place tonight, 2,390. So we got Clay moving all in under the gun, one off the under the gun here with 10-9 off, or excuse me, 10-9 of diamonds. Got a meet here to the button, gonna fold the 9-5 suited. Clay gonna pick up some blinds here without showdown. Always crucial, especially at this point, that if you can just win pots without even having to flip your cards up, it just kind of keeps you afloat for a level to, you can maybe find a double or triple up spot. Again, top 7 paying, so whoever gets knocked out next will be our bubble boy. As we shuffle up and deal and continue with blinds, 4,000, or excuse me, 8,000 and 16,000 with a 16,000 big blind ante. Next level up will be 10K, 20K. I think we're probably getting closer here to a chip up. We've gotten some of the yellows that are the $1,000 chips, the $5,000 pinks, and the 25K orange as Clay has picked up an ace-8 suited under the gun. Fender here with some 6s. He's going to shut, or actually he's just going to call the 89K. Usually in this spot, the best thing to do is maybe shove over the top of it, especially with the stack, rather than commit half to it. And because I think it just invite trouble if you don't isolate there in that spot, but we'll see if it works out for him. Might induce a little extra action in here, but especially with a hand like 6s, you just don't want to have to go up against as many players. And Big G thought about it. David also here with a 9-5. All right, here we go. Ace-8 versus 6s. Right in the window there. 6 is still good. 6 is still good. We need an ace or an 8 and not going to get it. A valiant effort by Clay today. He made it here to the final table. Has gotten deep here a few times and going to have to try again on another day as Fender has eliminated Clay here in 8th place. We're down here to our final 7. Good game. Mr. Clay has. As we continue here on TCH Live, again, hit that like button. Click subscribe if you're just checking us out here for the first time. Streams on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Again, the 2 cash games, Mondays and Thursdays, with the Sunday tournament final table each and every Sunday here at Texas Card House. Again, we have free rolls Wednesdays and Fridays to play. Also, ladies' night on Fridays. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have high hand, $100 rollovers. That promotion runs from 4 p.m. to midnight. So if you're playing here in the room, be like our guy Jedi Master Ted. took home a couple of $100. I think somewhere like $450-ish for making a straight flush. Wow, we got a. I was kind of surprised George gave up that hand, but got a mead here, gonna raise it up. Bert gets the table to agree, so everybody agrees to the added figure here. I think with Clay eliminated, they're down to the last 7. They decide at this point. Again, we were on a delay, so our super floor man Bert. So I had Tim working the floor today. Busy day always for our floor manager's cage and our awesome dealers here at Texas Card House. Everybody watching them Cowboys is back on the field. The boys leading 14-13, and Zeke Elliott just looking fantastic here right out of the gates. So don't know how that Cowboys defense is going to fare over the long haul, but they just got as good as anybody out here in the NFC to take it between the Saints, who look pretty impressive today. The Packers looking pretty good. Cardinals taking down the 49ers, so will be a fun race to the finish. Just as Mitch Hedberg said, that's a good place to end it. That's awfully nice of Ted. I said I tipped every employee on site $5, so I cleared $400 for the high hand. That's gracious of you. Lucky Larry, living legend. Here in the cutoff, going to limp here with the 6 deuce. I would not try this at home if I were you, but my guess is he's thinking that I can limp with any 2 cards here, and if it's a small enough pot, I can just pick up some little chips here and there while not having to sacrifice my chip position. But Aaron, a guy who's won 2 circuit rings, he's a little bit sharper than that. So just looking that up, and Aaron won a ring that featured the Bluff Daddy. The Bluff Daddy finished 10th. That was previously on this stream. And a $400 no-limit event at the Harris in New Orleans. The Bluff Daddy Mickey was the bubble boy on that. But Aaron did not mess up any. Won a ring on that. You could read about him as Player of the Month at ATX Poker. Then they also did an interview with me where I got to sort of sound like I knew what I was talking about. It was pretty cool. But yeah, over 184,000 total live earnings along the tournament circuit. All right, we got Aaron shoving here on the button here with King 8 offsuit. And he's going to pick up the blinds here as probably recognizing those are a couple of players that are playing tight. I can shove a lot of my hands up here and win it without showdown. John Shack saying the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. I didn't want to get too boisterous. It sounded like Pee Wee Herman there, but I probably should have sounded more enthused for that, but nonetheless, folks, down to our last 7. Now everybody who is in second place or less is now 10 big blind, or excuse me, 20 big blinds or less. So we're kind of getting to that point where we should start seeing some of these stacks move a little bit more. This could be a shoving spot here for Aaron. He's going to go ahead with a pre-flop raise of 35K. George going to fold. The meat going to defend here with a 9-6 of diamonds. All right, King 10 offsuit. I'm sorry, I thought it was King 10 of clubs. So 10 flops. Meat has totally missed this, so go ahead and c-bet there, Aaron. Probably maybe like 42 or something. Probably about a half-size pop bet, maybe just a little above that. And gonna get his opponent to fold. John Jack, that little clap was so sad sounding. I am tired, man. I got here for the open. Then I tried to wear out my dog before I came back here, so I'm hanging on here by by not nary a thread, but just like if I'm in that point, if I take another Red Bull, I'll be up all night or something with a lot of caffeine in it. So forgive me. In college football also coming back this weekend, at least to a degree, but yeah, we a touch of normalcy as we all yell at each other about things we can't control. We can at least go back to, well, I guess there is another sidebar to the sports discussion where it intermingles with culture, so. But at least now I think on Monday I'll be looking more forward to people's crappy sports takes and their crappy cultural takes. All right. You can fire off your takes here in the chat box. Mike Mikeson. Is that a real name? So that's awesome. All right, we got to raise up here by a meat. Mike Mikeson. Oh, that's hilarious. George Georgeson. All right. Again, kind of tight final table, but it's just kind of one of those bottleneck situations where I think players are afraid to just sort of bomb out of this tournament. That you don't necessarily want to, Leroy Jenkins your way out of this. Professor Professorson, is that from Community? Yes, Professor Professorson. Oh, the conspiracy theories and theory. Oh, yes, the guy that that's not a real name. Oh, the conspiracy theories episode. I watched that in its prime, like when it was coming out, and loved it. Community. There's a lot of episodes where there's just a ton of gems in there. Snappy dialogue. All right, we got to raise up here by a meat. Here, ace 10 offsuit. Here on the button, Big G here with King 9. Would be 24 more K to call, so roughly like 3 to 1. Here with a stack with about 280K. The meat has been a little bit more on the tight side, so if it's me in that chair, I'm very reluctantly wading the waters with King 9, but I could be kind of a nit in these spots. My man Larry, he ain't afraid of nothing. He's all about that action. So top pair, decent kicker here for a meet. And the big G gonna give it up here as Monday 5-5. I need to find somebody to join me for commentary. It's been always good. We've had Bones kind of on the felt here for the last couple of weeks. I expect he'll probably be back. I convinced Rami or somebody to come back there. I want to get Westlake mad, but he's been playing out there in Houston. We've had Brooklahoma still doing his weight loss challenge, and I guess it's still on, so I want to wish a happy birthday to Brooklahoma. I don't know what age he turned yesterday, but he's still fighting there, man. He's getting his workouts in. He seems to be dropping some weight, so we shall see how that turns out. If I get any updates, I will certainly try to pass them along, but maybe that's what John Shack should talk to at the ETX Poker, so I can get an update on the Brooklahoma challenge. Is Aaron going to raise it up here to 35K? Meat going to call here with the overs as a chip leader. And David here has got eights out of the big blind. Now, it would be a mistake, but you can see a lot of dead money out there, and feel like you're enticed to maybe try to pick this up. We'll see if he plays it more cautiously and takes a flop. Or does he decide to bomb it in here out of the big blind? He's just going to call. And over pairs here for David and Aaron. Big spot here for Aaron. 129K here in the middle. He wants to create a price big enough that can drive out a meet. While also extracting value here from a lesser hand. So he is going to choose, it looks like about 51K. A meet is going to fold. I would expect David may just rip it here. But just leaving with about 100K left and the pot has become too big to just, check fold if anything comes on the turn. But unless he's got a read that he thinks Aaron has the overpair, which he does, you just tend to see players put it in these spots. So you can't fault him for it, but he may be thinking about laying it down. But he grabs it, he puts it in, a quick call. Aaron practically beat him right into the middle of the pot. Eights make a straight draw here on the turn, but David has been eliminated. Now, Aaron here with 544K in tournament chips as we are down here to our final six. Yeah, I mean, we had a situation similar to this last week when we got to three-handed, and I think it was Shane that opened with ace-queen, and they were like three-handed, and George elected to kind of bomb it in relatively deep stack with eights. And he caught a little bit of flack for it, and I talked to George about it, that I could kind of see both perspectives there, where Major and Birch were talking about it, that, okay, relatively deep stack, you may want to take a flop versus try to play a big pot. But once you get the three-handed, I just feel like a lot of those traditional things can kind of come out and throw it out the window. I think ideally, if we take a results-oriented approach, like you can, it is totally 100% reasonable to say, like, it's okay to take a flop there in that spot, but I think the old school form of tournament poker has you getting into a lot of coin flips like that, but as you see for David there with the 7 high board, it's just not much he could do to get away from it. It's would be a really tight fold, but it would have been correct if had he made it, but 7 high, it just kind of stuck getting it in that spot. Bet here by Aaron here with the top and bottom. Big G has got top pair with a jack kicker. Fender has got no shot at this. Aaron now at least at second in chips and probably a chance to pull ahead of a meet. Here with top 2, 114K. How much can he get out of Larry here? 3 diamonds make it here. He's got the queen of diamonds blocker. Looks like we do get a river bet here at 36K. Big G going to pay it off here as now Aaron going to be up to 637K. Many players or many chatters pick to win this tournament once we got down to 8-handed. Aaron now coasting here on TCH Live. Click that like button, click subscribe. So we keep it rolling here through the Sunday hour. Sunday evening, Sunday night, Sunday. Again, 200 was handed to David as he finished in 7th. Next player to get eliminated will take home 620 big ones. 620. What was it, McChickens? You can't really get anything purely for $1 anymore. So 5th place would be 700 McChickens. 4th place would be 1,000. 3rd, 1,240. 2nd, 1,650. 1st, 2,390. Jack Fisher asking what time did this tournament start? It started at 2 p.m. Central. Now currently 9:18 Central. It's starting to feel like it's a super long tournament to a degree, but it's a good balance that if you want a structure that gives you enough play versus feeling like it's a turbo. And I think some players like it. It's like, hey, let's just try to get this thing over. I don't have, I got a wife, I got kids, I got, all this. Like, I don't want to do this for a 2-day, 14-hour day tournament. So I think it's kind of a sweet spot in between. You get enough play versus you're going 4 hands per level and hating the world. Which I think sometimes when you hit 15-minute levels, it just sort of feels like that. So that's why we always try to ask for good poker etiquette. When using your time, it just gives you a couple more hands per hour, more chances for you to pick up some aces or ace-king, and always keep that in mind when you play too. So, all right, so the Rams have gone ahead and scored. So they're up 20-14 with 5:33 left to go in the 3rd. No, the over-under was like 51 in this game, so a lot of folks out right there right now just want some points. Points. Again, I did not gamble on this, but it's a $150 buy-in. This Hillbilly Moose Duty, for some reason, keeps thinking it's 50. Buddy, you forgot the 100. We've got a shove here with some ducks by the G unit, Big G. So we've got a call. Most likely here by a meet here with King Queen. I would be kind of surprised if he folded, but I mean, it is a big enough bet that he has to. I mean, it's essentially a 10 big blind shove. It's going to represent just about like 2/5 of a stack, so it's a trickier call, but Amito, you're feeling lucky today. Can you win some races? He's going to give it up. The bet's just a little bit too much. I think if it's maybe 50K less, it's like an auto call, I think, for a meet in that spot. But there's just enough that he's given his opponent enough fold equity to get out. So you're welcome, Hillbilly. So Aaron, probably the favorite here at this point. I think the best overall player, obviously, out of this group in the background. And the track record, having been here many, many a times. Hillbilly says, by the way, War Eagle, like if you weren't a major Power 5 conference team and you didn't win, you really sucked this weekend. Like, you had to be really bad, or like, because most of these schools, I don't know, who did Auburn play? Did they play Beef Tech State or the Colorado School of Mines? Like, who did Auburn play this weekend? Let's take a look. All right, we got Aaron raising here with a6 offsuit after Big G limped in the hijack, and we got the Bronstein Bomber here with King Queen.
Yeah, just kill the hand unless he's within arm's reach. Yeah, within arm's reach.
Or did they? I don't even think Auburn played this weekend, did they? They're starting just a little bit later. My bad. I was like, I didn't think like the SEC has played yet. All right, so we've got Big G calling here with 10-8 suited. A little bit of a loose call, but he's here for the action. A6. Aaron, excuse me, Big G check. So over here to Aaron. If he really is a Buckeyes fan, the Big Ten electing to, oh, we're going to get a check shove. Quick shove there by the Big G unit. Pretending like he's dejected that he didn't get a call there. With a 10-8 suited. And that is one heck of a way to chip up there. He's going to pick up over 112,000 in tournament chips. Yeah, Hillbilly saying Iowa State. Yeah, Iowa State lost to Louisiana Lafayette. I'm not a Cyclones fan, even though I'm from Iowa. So it's fun to root for them when they win. It's fun to laugh at them when they lose. So you get the best of both worlds in that sense of the word. But yeah, the Sun Belt won a whole bunch of games this weekend. Yeah, the Mime College practices without a ball. That's true. This is Jedi Master Ted. Yeah, this is a weird time to try to measure how good a team is at any level, because it's just your preparation's way different, your habits and routine are way different. So sometimes you just go out there and lay a big old stinker. All right, we got to raise up here to 42K. Hillbilly says, I never root for Bama. Well, you guys are different. Like, the Bama versus Auburn thing runs a little bit deeper. Like, we have like 3 million people in our state of Iowa, so it's just, I try to be a good sport for the most part. All right, there's a bad board here for sixes. Their top two in chips tangle up. Aaron here with a king queen high. Gonna see a bet here all the time. Gonna bet 30K. The meat's gonna show sixes. Gonna go ahead and pick it up here with the C bet as we continue on TCH Live. You see any pot now can prove to be a pretty big swing in your chip stack. So that favors somebody like Aaron that really knows how to handle the bet sizes at these points. Because I think the mistake players make is just not managing those sizes deeper into tournaments where if you think you got to do everything 3 or 4x, like unless you run good, you're just gonna have these kind of small margins where you could have gotten the exact same information with a smaller amount than you would have with a bigger one, and I think that's one of his biggest strengths. Now George, his advantage is he's completely fearless at this point. Same with Larry. Amit has got a lot of chips to splash around with, so he's just not a dude that I feel like you can bluff off really easy unless it's a hand like that where it's pretty transparent that, you know, most people are going to fold an under pair to a 9 jack ace kind of board. So, and those kind of players can be tough to play against, especially when you get shorter stack, because you just don't have the flexibility to make moves, and if that player connects with a hand, you could be bluffing right into the nuts. So. All right, so we've got Fender here in the hijack. Can you read what your cards are? It looks as if we have a raise up here to 50K. And we're going to get a fold out here by Big G. Hillbilly says, Bama could play the Taliban, and I would wrap something around my head and yell Ali Akbar every time they scored. And he has been corrected by Juan saying it's Allah Akbar. So, I mean, I get the point. Yeah, it is. I think that's still kind of unusual that. But the South has a lot of things that they're angry at without really understanding of. So I understand. Like, it's. I could make a relatives joke, but I'll just try to keep it classy here on this program. I know there's a lot of fine, intelligent folks here from the South. You'll use the same toothbrush. Maybe the same bathroom. I don't know. I got cheap shots for days. I kid. All right, we got the Bronstein Bomb. We're going to jam here for 202K. Yeah, we're going to get a fold here out of Lucky Larry. Aaron here, not a believer in the 9 Triz, nor should he be, so. So we'll keep it going here on TCH Live. Again, our extended payouts there. You see David knocked out 7th. Next player to go out. We'll take home $620. All right, we got Eric here in the cutoff, just under, it's probably about under 10 big blinds. Got to rip it on in.
Make sure you announce everything, like every check, every fold, everything. And then I will walk you through a couple other things.
Is all right. We'll see if Fender out of the big blind would be almost all of his chips here with King 5 high and not going to give him action. So Eric gonna pick up some chips. Clay Martin says, I've got to start wearing a hat. Those lights make me look bald. I didn't notice that, but that's fair enough. Sometimes not the worst reason to slap a hat on. I believe you can buy some TCH hats at our gift shop. Right there at the front desk when you check in. Shirts, hats, hoodies. All right, Big G. I would love a shove here in this spot with about 10, maybe 16 big blinds or so. Okay, maybe that's almost not awful, but this is a rip in for George 100% of the time. He's got a limper. He's got A7 suited. He feels like he's going to get this pot most of the time unless somebody's completely trapped him. And Larry is he is crazy enough here to call, but he's been a little bit more on the passive end here. As Fender going to double check his chips to see if it was a smaller bet than he thought, or else maybe he's trolling George a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and pick it on up. Again, blinds 10 and 20K. As we keep it moving on TCH Live, you can check out ATX Poker. I did an interview with them on the YouTube channel, also on the website atxpoker.club. So yeah, if really actually that compelled. I thought it was a fantastically done interview. John did a terrific job just cutting in different clips that brought it a little more to life. I'm going to show off the old personality a little bit. Aaron here with some deuces after Big G has limped in the hijack. He's going to limp behind him with some deuces. There is a time to do it. I think this is definitely it. The Mad Bomber here was 6-5, so we got a whole host of different hands here in the mix. I like George's hand here against the field, but I'm going to be proven terribly wrong. His top pair and a straight draw for the Big G. He's going to put a big bet out there at 75K. Going to go ahead and take all those Chipperooskies. Now up to 347K. So still really anybody's game right now. I mean, and Aaron near the top two in chips, but all it takes is one elimination from somebody, and you're going to be sitting right there in first place. Again, with 6 players to go. You're over $150 6K guaranteed prize pool tournament. Standard spot, standard open here for Aaron. With the 1K chips out there, it can make it a 42K raise. Sometimes by this point we'll have the 1K chips off so that they're just kind of in increments of 5 or 10,000, but of that newer school where you can make kind of more, I'd say less common and more efficient amounts. Still doing good here, up to 619K. As you see our chip counts here. Amida's down to 18 bigs. Big G to 17. The Mad Bomber 13. Eric and Fender both under 10 bigs. So it's push or shove time. And George, I think, is getting a smoke gun. Raise up here at 42K again here by Aaron. The meat here with ace jack, definitely callable hand. And he's going to go ahead and 3-bet it here. One of our first, I feel like this has been one of our few 3-bets that's a non-all-in 3-bet. Here to 125K on the button. Clay says, I have to go back and watch it tonight. I couldn't get traction. Felt like I was running dry. I think you played it fine. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong in anything you did that you could sit there and say, like, there was a critical error. I would have to kind of go back if I was going to, like, actually critique, but it's... But nonetheless, sometimes that is just the way the cookie crumbles, my friend. So, appreciate your playing. All right, we got a shove here by Eric on the button. And Aaron is going to fold. So we got George raising here onto the gun. Up here to 45K. Tricky spot for Aaron, who's not going to defend his king 10 off out of the small blind. Blinds again 10K, 20K. Probably going to be a little too much there for Fender here with the 4-2 suited. But we're actually going to defend here. The loose call. Going to go quick check, check. 8-ball here on the turn. check and bet, and George gonna pick up the pot. Do you sell any merch online? Says Juan Hernandez. We don't specifically, but Wes Cutshall does on razorclothing.com. Again, that's www.razorclothing.com. So if you want to get some Texas Card House merch, best way to do it, hats, hoodies. I think John Shack's got a couple of different things. Larry, Lucky Larry, gonna limp here in the cutoff 7-6. We've got Fender here folding the 6-5 as the Mad Bomber gonna check the old Dan Grimes, the 9-5 offsuit. And whoever is gonna bet at this first is gonna win it as the Big G gonna bet it here and pick up the pot. Fender down to under 6 big blinds. Meat is finally north of 200, or excuse me, of 20 bigs. Aaron, the small chip lead. What's going on, Matt White? He says, good evening, guys. Probably watching them boys play as well. Gonna think a lot of folks sweating that over-under tonight. I thought about putting it on the under, but it just seemed like so many people were going just like, it's over, it's over. It's two explosive teams, a fast turf in Los Angeles. And that just always kind of seems to be the way it is. Just try to go opposite of the herd. It's a little Colin Coward just to say it. We've got Eric jamming here with some 10s under the gun. We'll see if he gets any action. Does Mead have a hand playable? Nope. So we'll continue here, 10 and 20 with a 20 big blind Annie with 25-minute levels. I believe after this is going to go to 15-30, then 20-40. Well, let me just verify that on the old computer machine. All right, 15-30, 20-40, 25-50, and 30-60, but I feel like generally once we get to 25-50, that's when we're pretty much at the end of the tournament. When it's a field of about like 50-some players. Sometimes you'll get to 30-60, but I'm just hoping for a lot of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott here in the fourth quarter. That's just a couple of Zeke touchdowns would just do it there for me. As the Mad Bomber going to pick it up here with Queen Jack suited. What do you guys think that the Rams' new like chrome blue uniforms? I think they're pretty snazzy. I think it's a pretty good look for them here in the new stadium. I think those throwbacks were always pretty nice, but they kind of juiced up their unis a little bit, so look a little modern. Dak, three-step drop over the middle, tipped and going to be incomplete here on 2nd and 6 with 12:26 left here in the fourth. Cowboys here in the red zone don't want to settle for field goals. They try to get it over to Blake Jarwin. Got to cash in those tickets when you get in the red zone. Just a little football play-by-play broadcast for you guys. Out of the gun. All right, 10:20. Gonna be back to sports broadcasting this week. I cannot effing wait. I enjoy this poker show, but so we're gonna get a walk here to the Big G. He's gonna get his big blind Annie back. Dallas, just like Atlanta, will never win it with Dak Prescott. I don't know. I think a lot of Dak's problems before, you can kind of point the finger at Jason Garrett. Like, I was more inclined to take a look at what the body of work's going to be. And this Rams team is still pretty solid. It's like, I think there are very few quarterbacks who could truly, like, elevate their team. Mahomes is one of them. As we're going to get a shove here by Fender with 9-8 suited. All right, and we're going to get a call here by Aaron. It's a flip, an 8 right there in the window. He's going to have to spike a deuce. Otherwise, Fender is going to double up as we'll read it. 7 there on the turn as a burn. And a 9 there on the river, so 2 pair 9s and 8s here for Fender. It was a short stack. Aaron taking a chance there with a deuce. This just could not get him to hold. Okay, so that wasn't Jarwin. I thought it was some other tight end, so. Okay, looks like Jarwin is out. Oh, okay, he got knocked out tonight. I see. Yikes, okay. John, yes, says Mikey, did you see the Mike Sexton tribute that Berkey did? Yeah, it was very good. RS said, I heard the new stadium cost $5 billion. Yikes. Yeah, I don't want to get into how stadiums get funded because it is kind of a really weird deal where taxpayers tend to get on the hook for this. John Oliver did a really unique, I think, like, kind of feature report on that, but just kind of crookedly weird that tends to be. But what's not weird, though, is picking up queens on the button, which Big G certainly has, and internally jumping for joy right now, 6-handed. Going to raise it up, though. It's going to be a big raise up here to 105. Okay, we've got an all-in here by Aaron. So we've got Duke versus Carolina, Ace-King versus Queens. They're just always matched up against each other. And this is as significant a pot here for this final table. Like, how are you? I mean, you're just calling here all the time. Like, you can't get away from. And probably the more Larry thinks here, the better Aaron thinks his hand is. Yeah, I mean, you can't. I just can never justify not getting it in here, but maybe Larry doesn't know that it's his turn. I'm not sure why he's not gotten it in yet. He's probably thinking, like, why, if I put out this big of a raise, am I getting the shove back in there all the way? So Aaron's going to have to spike a card. 7 here on the turn, queen 7s, and oh, it's a 9 on the river. Lucky Larry He's going to chip up here to 754K. Larry Legend. And Aaron is going to be crippled down to 33K. He will have the button. It will be chip and a chair. Here for Aaron. You can't fault him for jamming there with Ace King. And as we just sort of say, that's just poker. That's just, you put those two hands in the mix, it's just what's going to happen. You're just going to get it in. And Aaron has just routinely gotten deep into this tournament. I've not seen him like run fantastically. For the tournament stream, there was a time he rivered a set that made his opponent a straight. So blinds 10K, 20K. Aaron is down to just about a big blind. Aaron's going to get in here with Queen 4 suited. Fender has woken up with 8s. Bronstein has very few for him to call here with 9-3 offsuit. He's priced in with just about any 2. Aaron looking for more than just a triple up here. But yeah, quadruple up if he can hit his hand. He does make with a pair of 4s, pair of 8s still best. Seven here on the turn. And the Bronstein Bomber has hit trip 3s. So Aaron is going to be eliminated here as we go to showdown. And Aaron has been eliminated. Many players pick to win it when we were 8-handed, and he was as big of a chip leader. Lost a coin flip there with deuces to queen 10. So we are going to be down to, looks like 5 players. Fender, short stack, the Bronstein Bombers. Now going to be with about 448K. Everybody jinxed Aaron, says JTN. Hillbilly says, can you wager on games there? Sportsbook? No. I think we may see some legislation based on what I've heard maybe be introduced for sports betting legalized within the state. I don't know if that's immediately going to be on the docket, but I just got a feeling like at some point that's going to break, but all right, here we go. Top pair here for the Bronstein Bomber. The meat has no pair, no draw, maybe some backdoors. Does a turn is going to peel. Does we'll give a 5, a deuce here on the end. All right, we've got Bomber up here to the 508K mark. All right, 15K, 30K with a 30K big blind ante. The next level going to be 20,000, 40,000 with a 40,000 big blind ante. Larry may be feeling like some power poker here. Going to raise it on up. Oh, no. He was grabbing more chips. I thought he was going to put it out for a raise, but he is just going to limp under the gun. Jack 9 off suit. Fender is going to get some change. I think looks like we got a shove there by a meat, so Fender and Eric, the really short stacks here at this point with 15 and 30K. So, I mean, effectively, we've got 75K in the middle between the blinds and the antes. Does not leave you a whole lot of wiggle room to work with for the majority of these players, so it's kind of all in or full time for a lot of this table. Bomber's got 10s here. Just a seat. Pretty big raise size here up to, it says 105K. I feel like there was 5 of those. Orange chips. I think poor George is getting his glasses fogged up because of his mask. Big G is going to lay down his Queen 10 suited. Again, hit the like button. Click subscribe. Jedi Master Ted said, I heard a collective sigh of relief from the field when Aaron busted. I think that's true. I think a lot of those guys would probably be sitting there like, all right, yeah, that's the most rock solid player on here. Has been eliminated. All right, ace deuce is blind versus blind. On the right of your screen, Big G gonna have first to act. He's gonna jam his ace deuce. Fender's gonna call off because he's already got 30K in the big blind and 30K as the ante. Big G's not a huge favorite, but a favorite nonetheless. Jack 9 still live. Still live, but ace deuce gets stronger. And we are going to have an elimination as Fender has been eliminated in 5th. We are down to the final 4. Big G, Amit, Eric, and the Bronstein Bomber. Lucky to Larry continuing to love life here as so pretty much the left side of the table is out, so the right side, or depending on which way you're looking at, here on your screen, everybody on the right side. Larry in there in the bottom right-hand corner. Eric off there wide right to meet right top corner. In middle right there is the Bronstein Bomber, the big blind with the 30K. George also with the circuit ring back in 2006. Pot limit hold'em. Five four suited, gonna flop bottom pair. Here blind versus blind, and we'll get Larry to fold out. And you know who was actually on that final table? Brett Youngblood. The Bronstein Bomber had to play my relative, not relative, Brett Youngblood in pot limit hold'em in Robinsonville and Tunica. I'll have to ask Joe Brett if he remembers that, if he remembers the Bronstein Bomber back then. Brett's mentioned he's watched the show a handful of times, but all right, so we've got a limp here in the cutoff. Meat's going to check his option. Top pair here for the big G. So he did outflop a Meat, so does still have a gut shot. The Meat is, wow, he's actually going to pick it up after the, oh, no, okay, Big G does pick it up as it went to showdown. I was like, what? All right, Mike McKeon says, have to live through this vlog since we don't have any live poker in our casinos yet. I hope the players know how lucky they are. I don't know if they do or not, but I think most people are relieved to have an activity to do. So, I mean, I've not encountered too many people that aren't. Generally pretty nice here at TCH. Matt White saying to move to the Houston area from Austin. Here at the Spring, Texas location. 15 and 30K. As George has got Ace King and a raise up here to at least 130 some plus. And oh, we got a shove here by a Meat. It could be some very poor timing for him. Gonna make his stand here. And a little surprised, but I mean, it is also when you're four-handed that George can raise with a wide variety of hands. I may have tried to snuff out waiting Eric to bust there, but he could still get lucky. And oh my goodness, he does. Queen right there in the window, but a chance for a straight here for George. If we can hit it 3, he does not. Oh, very unlucky spot there for George. He's going to have 209K left. He got it in as good as you can ask for. His opponent drawing to 3 outs. The Meat hits it. I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad shove there in that respect, especially here against the button raise, who can open. I do think you can get looked up more often by George with an ace X, but George did everything right he could, just got a little unlucky. Jedi Master said, Ted says, told you clockwise elimination day. So that really puts Larry as like the total favorite to win this thing, doesn't it? It's going to be George, then it's going to be Meat, and then somehow Eric there will finish second. So well, what's happened here in this Cowboys game? They can't score, so it's Rams up here. I think there's a lot of folks out there hoping for overtime. All right, 1530, 30K big blind ante. Then, all right, so no showdown. John Chack, what do you think about the Nuggets coming back today? I didn't get to see any of it. I haven't really got to see any of the highlights. Like, I was kind of working right here at 11, so I was really surprised. I just really figured the Clippers would take care of it, and that'd be done, and then we're going on here to the Western Conference Finals, but it is just... The Nuggets still have some fight in them. But speaking of fight, we've got Eric jamming here with the 9-6. He's got, very few chips left relative here to the limits. Insta call here by the Bronstein Bomber. And here we go. Top pair here for George. His opponent drawing pretty slim. And that is going to be it here for Eric, who's been eliminated in fourth. Now we'll take home $1,000. So we're here to our final three. George still knocking on the door here with 10 big blinds. All right, he gets one double up. He's right there. So, and that is not improbable here at this point. So, but yeah, the Clippers for some reason maybe just coming out flat. I just kind of feel like they're supposed to take Game 7. I think it's a huge feather in the cap to Denver for still hanging on to this series. It's really unfortunate timing. They have to play these games against the start of the NFL season because I can't imagine the numbers are going to be very big once we talk TV ratings for a noon NBA playoff game. But you know, hey, them's the breaks. Well, George is getting some good karma here after his ace king was cracked by king queen. He's got queens here in the small blind. Puts up a big raise, and the mate's not going to give him any action. So we had 252 entries here into the field. Prize pool of $7,800. So again, I'm watching the Cowboys game on NBC.com. So 2-minute drill time for old Dak Prescott. Can he put the haters at bay? The old 2-minute offense with the 89 yards to go. 2 minutes and 28 seconds. One timeout left. You do have the 2-minute warning, so it's enough that. Let's see if this offense can generate some chunks of yards and protect the quarterback here. All right, so we have got a gutter ball here for Amit. He does pair up to 7. Second pair here for the big G unit. Deuce here on the end. The meat misses. All right, so he's going to lead out, though. He might get Big G to fold. There's 3 hearts there on the board. It is a small bet relative to the size of the pot. I'm a bit surprised with second pair. Larry didn't look him up there, but he could just be trying to play cautiously until maybe George gets knocked out. And generally, the more short-handed you get, the better hand value. I mean, it's a marginal spot there, but all right, let's continue here on TCH Live. 3-handed. Lines 15,000, 30,000. So me raised up here to 75K. George would essentially almost be a min raise. He's going to give up the Jack 10. I'm a bit surprised. Thought he might try to defend post flop, but going to wait for a better opportunity, I guess. George's biggest score was a $300 tournament with 1,673 players at the WinStar, winning $70,000 out of a 500K prize pool. That was back in 2014. So George's been around the block for quite a while in tournament poker.
It's right over the letters from the start of the T to the end of the E, so it's not centered.
All right, we got ace queen here for George. The 105K already out there. Between the two limpers, the big blind and the small blind. That's going to go on into the middle. I don't think he's going to get any action from either player, but he's going to try to entice him to come on in. So come on, young man. Come on and play with me. Not a chance, though. Matt White says I predict Zerline missing a field goal. I do not want that. I do have the Legatron. And I hate to be this guy, but on my fantasy team, so don't be making ill wishes towards the guys that I need to be having produce here, my friend. John Jackson George, the second all-time money list for TCH Austin. I believe that. I just put in a pretty good volume on this, and this is a hand I'm surprised plays as passively as it has right now. These guys are all kind of just circling each other again, 20, 40K, and like Larry's not wanting to make a lot of moves pre-flop here in tournament poker, but here's ace high holds and river's a deuce, so deuces and fives. Could put out a little river bet, pick up the pot as we continue. Doesn't look like Dallas getting very far. There's 40 seconds left. They still have a timeout. They're getting like 5 to 10 yards at a time. So this could be, I'm just trying to tell you guys, don't overreact to week one. Give it, another 2-3 weeks before, if your team did not do great in week one, just relax. The sun will come out tomorrow. Everything's going to be fine. You're still going to be able to live and breathe. Wait like a month in before writing the obituary that your team sucks. So still got a lot of time to figure it out. My dad's like the opposite. He's just ready to just freak out at any moment's notice when the Vikings lose. So I got to calm him down a little bit. Like, hey, it's fine. It's just football, my friend. All right, 20-40. George within striking distance. Up against two passive post-flop players. So this could play to his advantage here, that if he can bully the table here a little bit and leverage his stack in a couple of different spots. And we'll see if he does it here. And it's going to get the big blind to lay it down. And we're going to continue here 10 and 20. Should be 20 and 40. My bad here. So next player to get eliminated there, 1,240. Second, 1,650. first 2,390. We got a meet here with, after George limped the button here with Queen 10 of Hearts. A raise up here to 130K. Tough decision here for George. About 90K more would leave him with about 400K back. Had he raised this, almost assuredly a meet probably would have jammed all in.
I mean, they shouldn't be, but they are. We didn't. 58's fine, because we didn't raise off the other, so I'm assuming there's an odd number.
George gonna give it up here as, and a meet shows for some reason. He's got a little heat here in the chat from showing some of these hands, but his son Rick says Bronstein WSOP 2006 fourth for 75K was on ESPN. Fun YouTube to watch. I almost assuredly have to watch that. I mentioned before that my cousin, not my cousin, Brett Youngblood played on one of the final tables. Oh, so that was Rafe first, Rocky and Cecil. Eric Lynch. I remember Eric Lynch. Bert. How did I not remember George being on this final table? Did they just not show him that much? Because I remember that was kind of that golden heyday of WSOP poker that they... Eric Lynch was risen online. It's kind of one of the big online names, and then I think he kind of faded out of existence after 2010. All right, we got a call here by Big G. Old Larry boy. Not bad news for everybody that took the over, as it's going to finish 20-17. It is kind of funny for the folks that were, this happens every year. Cowboy optimism, like you just look at it on paper and everybody's ready to anoint them the champions, and then they're quick to jump off that bandwagon within like 10 seconds. It is. You can measure it by clockwork, and then the Cowboys will lure you back in. They'll start looking good, so I'm not ready to write them off after a week, after a road loss. See how they look once they get back a little home cooking. All right, 10-8 suited, Jack 5. Top pair here for a meet. Middle pair. So now George has turned 2 pair. Big opportunity here for George. He's going to jam here all in. I don't know if a meet can fold here. No, he can win it here if we get a 3 on the river. Again, a meet still has to call. I would be really surprised if he gets away with this hand. I mean, maybe he could think George has a better jack. A couple of straight draws get there. I mean, he could. The way he's stacking chips now, that is somebody who's calling this bet. I'll hopefully answer your question there, David Brailier. Chance here for George to double up if his hand holds. He's got to fade 8 outs. This is turn 2 pair, 8s and 10s, and it is a deuce. George fades it. And Amit is going to be down to just 5. I mean, just like I said, George was down to less than 200K, and all it was going to take was a hand or two to get him right back in the mix, so you can't ever count him out. Okay, David Brother, do you think a lack of audience at the NFL games will have an impact on the season? I think, yeah, it just seems pretty common sense that crowd noise always matters in spots where when you're the home team, you can kind of create more confusion for the opposing offenses, and I think with that in the mix, and if you really can't make it difficult for the opposing offense, and a lot of the home field edges that have been negated over the years based on, like, it's easier to travel, it's easier to treat players with injuries. You know, a lot of the margins that you used to be able to have that comfort and routine of being on your home turf are largely negated in some of these spots. So, Eugene Green, how are you going to make that call and decide the game? Oh, yeah, the NFL's rigged. I forgot. The NFL is like poker stars. Lee Jones just turns on a switch, and the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. All right, so we've got an all-in jam here by Lucky Larry. Yeah, I mean it's a good advantage. I think it really advantages well-coached teams and teams with continuity. That if you've had a group that's largely been together at your core positions, offensive line, quarterback, your defensive secondary, or whoever your best player are in what position group. So it's continuity is really going to matter here out of the gate, and then we'll see if it just comes down to coaching. William says Seattle will not have the 12th man, that's for sure. I think Denver is one of the few teams that does get an advantage because of their altitude, so like that still exists for them. Without noise, definitely. Eugene Green, this says tell that to Saints fans. Boy, I don't even know if I have enough time for this. 2008, I was a Minnesota Vikings fan, and the Saints won on a cheap little walk-off field goal where we had to change the rules the following year so no team could just win in overtime on a cheap little field goal. So I'd never, ever want to hear a Saints fan ever complain again. I like you guys. You're one of the best home crowds. But y'all were dirty. You ruined Brett Favre's career. And then pretended like it didn't happen. Saints fans are supposed to be fun. Why have they been so whiny the past few years? You guys have been confusing the heck out of me. All right, ace, deuce, deuce.
Saying, how can George be a big blind and get
All right, as we continue here, again, 2040.
No, it was right.
Time Traveler says, "What's up, man?"
Because you can't be the big blind twice. Well, no, George was the big blind, so that doesn't matter. I don't know. I'd have to go back and.
Time Traveler says, "Where is this game at?" The real question is, when is this game at? This is the year 2020 here at Texas Card House in North Austin. Yeah, and we've got top pair here, top and bottom here for Big G. Amit has 6 high. Meat does turn a pair of 5s, and now Queen's full of 7s. Maybe a chance Larry makes a small bet that can get paid off. Everybody, all right, so we'll make a big bet here. I think Amit's going to fold after check raise. Everybody always talks about that Saints-Rams game, about that one particular penalty, but I always look back. Like, there was one really egregious face mask that the Saints got away with on the Rams in that particular game. That wouldn't there was a lot of stuff that came before that should have negated that situation even happening. Although I agree that was really awful. But I mean, I'm a big believer in karma, and you can't have hired Greg Williams and ruined many people's careers with bounties and sit there and look in the mirror and say like, hey, you don't have blood on your hands, my friend. Greg says it's going long. No kidding. Marcelo M9 Poker, what's the buy-in? It's a $150 buy-in, MegaStack. The Dez catch, the tuck roll, the lights go out. I just don't. I think human error is not indicative of a game being rigged. But it's a subject that comes up every year, so it's... All right. So, again, everybody's under 20 big blinds. Time Traveler looks like a nice place and safe. Yep. All right, we got a Queen 9 shove here by the Matt Bomber. Gonna go ahead and pick this up. I'm actually excited. I started watching The Boys on Amazon Prime last night. I maybe got through halfway through the second episode, so it's like, all right, go home, watch my dog, or walk my dog again. Then go dip into the rest of that series. Totally has my attention. Very, very, very good series. So as we continue here, three-handed. I mean, everything's pretty straightforward. It's razor fold, and it's going to be for the majority of the chips in play. So I'd love to be able to delve into a lot more sophisticated strategy, but there just really isn't any. It's just, if George races on the button, he's committing a significant amount of his chips. So it's... Hillbilly says, Mike, did you ever deal in Tunica, Horseshoe? Nope. I had not ever been anywhere near the state of Mississippi my entire life until about a week ago. Yeah, I'm still in the first season, so don't tell me anything else. But I'd heard about it, and then about 20 minutes in, I go, oh my God, this is an awesome premise for a show. All right, we got to meet jamming here with 8-7 of diamonds. Will they get any action? Nope. 9 Triz, 9 Dewey. So we'll keep it moving. We're glad all of you are stuck here. I know we've had a bunch of people watching, just about 340 to 350. Hit that like button if you have not already. You've been a loyal viewer here of this program. You've stuck it out here for the entirety. That started at about 7:45. This has felt a little bit longer. Again, 20K, 40K. Here with a 40K big blind Annie, so graphics going to catch up here as we got a button limp. Seen Lucky Larry do this with all sorts of hands, and this time it's going to be 7-6 suited. Mate here with 6-3. All right, Mr. Larry here with middle pair. Only one that really connects with this, so he'll bet. George may be thinking that he thought Larry was to check, or maybe we've got the positions wrong. So we are going to try to sort this out here as I think George may be arguing that is that a correct chip denomination bet, because generally at this point all the yellow 1K chips are taken off and colored up, so it generally tends to be in increments of 5,000. So I think George is wanting a clarification on that. I'm surprised he's even thinking about it. He's either going to have to put in a raise here. He does not believe that Big G has an ace here, so the only reason he is doing this is because he knows his opponent's likely leading with a weaker hand that if he raises off, he's going to get his opponent to fold. So he shows it to him. Savage. ATX Poker with the 199 super chat. Again, hit them up on Instagram at ATX Poker. We did an interview on their YouTube channel. Fresh website, new channel. Go and check them out. John Shack saying the best season 1 I've ever seen was Westworld. Season 2 was okay. Season 3, Jan. Season 3 was really convoluted and kind of hard to understand, but I enjoyed it. I didn't dislike it, but it was just. And I'm not a moron, though many of our chatters think I am. I had. You just watch. I got a couple of YouTube commentator. This commentator by some fucking random hater out in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, it was really hard to understand everything that was going on. To I think fully appreciate it, but George's gonna appreciate the fact he's got ace queen here on the button. Pop it up here. And this is a pretty hefty size raise. Is 240K button raise. Here three-handed. Oh, Larry's got ace king. What a cooler here, three-handed. We got an all-in, and we're going to get an insta-call. George really unlucky here that he's run up against it. Again, he was the button raiser. We've got a flush draw here for Larry with best ace-king. And hits it on the river. I mean, he was ahead the whole way. George did spike a queen. But unfortunately, it was the wrong king. Or queen, excuse me. So now, Mr. Larry going to be sitting with over $1.5 million in chips. George is going to have less than 165K in the mix. But he's still got a puncher's chance at it. So the button is should move over here to a meet. That means Big G will be the small blind. Thank you, Greg. Show Mike some love. Doing a great job as always, young blood. Thank you. Jedi Master Ted with the segue of the night. After talking about George's appreciation of the button, that turned out to be wrong as he unfortunately ran into a bigger hand. But still alive here in the tournament, but Larry's been mixing it up, throwing curveballs at everybody here at this final table. Eugene Green, someone on the internet thinks you're a moron. Impossible. I know. I just have not understood why, like, 98% of the feedback you get impossible. Then when you go to YouTube, it's like the YouTube comments are almost always like the nastiest, visceral, like. And I mean, I'm not just saying like an art channel. Like if you just go to like Joe Rogan's channel, for instance, it's never like, wow, what a great show. This person's a great guest. It's like Joe Rogan's stupid. You're like the guy with $100 million deals apparently doesn't know how to do his job. All right, we speak. Okay, enough of my rant. I'm just trying to entertain you guys. But all right, Big G shoves out of the small blind. George has got King 5. He's had to put in a healthy amount of his chips. Got Bert or Floorman keeping things in line here. George has got King 5 high. I mean, if he gets knocked out here, that is 1,240. There's not a. I mean, it's about a $410 difference between second and third. So they're going to give it a run out. 8 pairs here for Lucky Larry. George's going to need to hit a king, and a king only. That ain't going to do it. Verlin says, I think the bomber would play tournament standing up the whole time if he could. Maybe. Yeah, George's got an active mind, man. I can't blame him. Very proactive with his thoughts. I think he's trying to quit smoking too. It's tough, man. But this is back-to-back weeks that George's been knocked out in third, and this time I think he's way more unlucky this time. But a great performance there by the Bronstein Bomber, a crowd favorite, one of my favorites here on TCH Live. Always keeps things interesting. And all right, so we're going to have a limp here. Amit's only got about 326K back. He's picked up ace queen and going to jam. Clock running out here for Amit. Is going to have to make a move quickly. Maybe, and if he gets a double up here, he'd be able to flip the advantage, but Williams says better than flaming out twice in a row. That's right. It's better to burn out than to fade away. It's great, Neil Young would say. So we've got 6-4 suited, we've got ace 3. Wheel draw for the old Larry here. The meet here with bottom pair and a straight draw and gonna give it up. Indeed will. Southern Man, don't need him around anyhow. V, wasn't that AC/DC? No. That's Neil Young. Neil Young was the one that says better to burn out than to fade away. He had two different versions of that. That was, into the blue and out of the, God, there was two different versions of those songs' lyrics, but. All right, we're continuing here. Heads up. As I'm going to shift the button here. We've somehow delved into talking about Neil Young here at the end of the night, which is not what I expected, but whichever way you want to get there is fine. Oh, right. All right, we got Queen Jack versus sevens. Larry with a chance to seal it. If he can win this race, and a 7 right there, unless we go run, or diamond, or straight. Larry is your winner. That deuce is a great card for him. 3 of a kind Jack's not going to be good. 7's full for the legend Larry, living large. 7's full for the Big G unit. And congratulations to you, my friend. A wild tournament final table went all the way here to the end. Almost over 3 hours. We appreciate all y'all for joining us. Again, like, subscribe. We will see you tomorrow night on TCH Live, Monday 5 edition. Back tomorrow night. Thank you, everybody.